There will come a time when life hits you so hard that you forget who you are. A time when the plans you built crumble, when people you trusted walk away, when the reflection in the mirror doesn't look like you anymore. And in that moment, when everything collapses, you'll have a choice to stay shattered or to rebuild not the old version of yourself, but someone new, someone wiser, deeper, more alive. When life breaks you, it's not destroying you. It's demanding your attention. It's saying you've outgrown the old you. The pain isn't random, it's intelligent. It's a teacher in disguise, whispering lessons through your suffering. Most people try to escape it. They run from it, numb it, deny it, but those who rise, those who truly transform, they sit with it, they listen, because in the breaking you meet your truth. Think about it, every breakthrough in your life began as a breakdown. The universe removes what no longer serves you, not to punish, but to prepare. When you stop resisting the process, when you stop asking, why me, and start asking, what is this trying to teach me, your suffering becomes sacred. It becomes a tool for evolution. Pain is not the end, it's the invitation to awaken. Every time life shakes you, every time your heart cracks open, every time your dreams collapse, something greater is trying to emerge. We've been conditioned to see pain as an enemy, to run from it, to hide behind distractions, to numb it with comfort or noise. But what if pain isn't here to hurt you? What if it's here to wake you up? What if it's the universe's way of saying, you've been asleep too long in this version of yourself? Pain arrives not to break you, but to introduce you to a deeper, stronger, truer version of who you are meant to be. Every breakdown carries within it the seeds of a breakthrough, but most people never discover that because they stop at the pain. They see pain as the finish line, when in truth it's the starting point of transformation. When your plans fall apart, when your relationships fail, when you lose something you thought you couldn't live without, it's not the end of your story, it's a new chapter being written by a wiser hand. Pain strips away the illusions you cling to. It tears down what's false so you can see what's real. It removes what no longer serves your growth, even when your ego screams for it to stay. You see, growth never happens in comfort. Comfort keeps you safe, but it also keeps you small. It keeps you repeating the same patterns, living the same day over and over again, calling it a life. Pain, on the other hand, cracks open the walls of your comfort zone. It pushes you to look at yourself, to question, to evolve. When life breaks you, it's not asking you to give up, it's asking you to rise up, to stop surviving and start awakening, to stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? When you shift that question, everything changes. Suddenly, pain becomes purpose. It becomes a guide, not a punishment. Every scar becomes a symbol of strength. Every tear becomes a teacher. Pain shows you what matters and what doesn't. It teaches you empathy because once you've suffered, you understand the suffering of others. It teaches you humility because it reminds you that control is an illusion. It teaches you gratitude because when the storm passes, even the smallest ray of light feels like a blessing. Pain doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to dissolve the parts of you that were never real, the masks, the fear, the ego, the old identity you've outgrown. And yes, it hurts. Growth always does. But the version of you that emerges from pain is unshakable. You start realizing that the strength you were searching for was always within you. You stop waiting for external validation because you've seen yourself survive the worst. You've looked into the darkness and found your own light. Think of a seed. Before it becomes a tree, it must break open. That breaking is painful, but without it, growth would be impossible. The same law applies to you. You must allow the breaking for the becoming. Pain cracks the shell of who you were so that your potential can breathe. When life breaks you, it's not saying you're weak, it's saying you're ready. Ready to shed your past, ready to step into a higher level of consciousness, ready to live not from fear, but from truth. So when pain comes, don't run, sit with it, listen to it, feel it fully. It's not your enemy, it's your initiation. It's the passage through which your old self dies and your new self is born. And once you understand that, you stop seeing pain as the end of your story. You start seeing it as the awakening of your soul. Because in the breaking, you don't lose yourself, you find yourself. you discover that pain isn't the signal of your end, but the sound of your rebirth. Awareness is the first step toward transformation. You cannot change what you refuse to face, and you cannot rise above what you are not willing to see. Most people spend their lives trapped in cycles of pain, confusion, and fear, wondering why nothing changes. But transformation never begins in action, it begins in awareness. Awareness is the light that reveals the patterns that keep you stuck. It's the mirror that shows you not what's wrong with life, but what's unresolved within you. When life breaks you, it's trying to pull your awareness inward, to make you conscious of what you've been avoiding, the emotions buried, the beliefs unchallenged, the stories you keep replaying about who you are and what you deserve. Awareness isn't just noticing what's happening, it's understanding it without judgment. It's the moment you pause and say, "This pain I'm feeling, this chaos around me, what is it trying to teach me?" Most people react to pain with resistance. They fight it, blame others, or distract themselves. But that resistance only deepens the suffering. The instant you become aware, truly aware, the energy of resistance begins to dissolve. Awareness is presence. It's consciousness witnessing itself. It's that sacred space between what happens to you and how you choose to respond. In that space, transformation becomes possible. The truth is, most of what breaks us is not the event itself, but our unconscious reaction to it. A person leaves, and we attach the story of abandonment. A failure occurs, and we attach the story of not being enough. These stories become identities we live by, invisible prisons that shape our choices and emotions. But awareness breaks the pattern. The moment you see the story, you are no longer the story. You move from being the actor lost in the script to being the observer holding the pen. That's where real power begins, not in controlling life, but in mastering your perception of it. Awareness is the bridge between who you were and who you can become. It takes courage to face yourself without filters, to look at your own pain without running from it. But awareness doesn't ask you to fix everything overnight. It asks you to be honest, to witness your emotions without labeling them as good or bad, to notice your thoughts without becoming them. The more you observe, the less they control you. Awareness is not a skill you learn, it's a state of being you remember. It's returning to your natural consciousness, the part of you that has always been still, wise, and unbroken beneath the surface chaos. When you bring awareness into a moment of pain, something miraculous happens. The pain begins to lose its power. It's not that the external situation immediately changes, but your relationship with it does. You start to see that every trigger is a teacher. Every disappointment carries direction. Every loss is guiding you back to yourself. The more you become aware, the more you realize that the world is not happening to you, it's responding to you. Life mirrors the state of your inner world. Change the inner, and the outer naturally begins to shift. Awareness also teaches compassion for yourself and for others. When you understand that everyone is acting from their own unconscious patterns, judgment fades. You stop taking things personally, you stop reacting and start responding from a place of wisdom. That's freedom, not the absence of pain, but the ability to meet it with presence. When awareness expands, your energy changes. You no longer carry the heaviness of blame or victimhood. You become a conscious creator of your experience, not a captive of circumstance. So when life breaks you, don't rush to escape the pain. Slow down. Breathe, observe. Awareness turns breakdowns into breakthroughs because it allows you to see the lesson hidden beneath the suffering. It shows you that healing doesn't come from changing the world, but from awakening within it. Every great transformation begins with the simple yet powerful act of becoming aware of who you are, what you believe, and what you are ready to release. Because once you see clearly, you can never go back to being asleep. Awareness is not just the first step toward transformation, it is transformation itself. The mind creates twice, first in thought, then in reality. Every experience, every outcome, every result in your life is born in the invisible space of your mind before it ever appears in the physical world. Your thoughts are not random, they are blueprints. The quality of your inner world shapes the structure of your outer world. When you think from fear, you create limitation. When you think from possibility, you create expansion. The mind is the most powerful instrument you possess. yet most people let it run unconsciously, producing the same patterns of pain, worry, and doubt that keep them trapped in the same cycles. When life breaks you, it's not just your circumstances that shatter, it's the mental framework you've been building your reality upon. That's not punishment, that's opportunity. It's a chance to rebuild your inner architecture. Every thought you repeat carries an emotional frequency. That emotion becomes your vibration, and that vibration becomes your experience. You cannot think thoughts of scarcity and expect abundance. You cannot think thoughts of fear and expect peace. Your outer life is the mirror of your inner dialogue. So when life feels like chaos, pause and listen to the conversation happening inside your mind. What are you telling yourself about who you are and what's possible? Every sentence, every belief is an instruction to your subconscious mind, and your subconscious obeys without question. The moment you start observing your thoughts instead of being consumed by them, you take back control of creation. The mind is like fertile soil. Whatever seeds you plant, faith or fear, gratitude or resentment, will grow. The law is neutral. The mind doesn't care whether you're imagining your failure or your success. It simply creates according to what you feed it most consistently. That's why awareness of thought is power. You cannot change the results in your life until you change the thoughts that created them. Transformation doesn't begin with a new situation. It begins with a new perception. When you understand that the mind creates twice, you stop blaming life for what it reflects. You begin to realize that every experience, even the painful ones, is feedback, a message showing you what you've been thinking and believing. If you attract people who devalue you, maybe it's because deep inside you still question your worth. If opportunities keep slipping away, maybe your thoughts are filled with doubt and fear of failure. Life mirrors what you project, not what you desire. Desire is conscious, but belief is subconscious, and the subconscious always wins. To create consciously, you must train your mind to think from the vision of your future, not the memory of your past. Most people wake up each day and think the same thoughts as yesterday. They feel the same emotions, make the same choices, and call it fate. But the future is not fate. It's created in the laboratory of your imagination. When you begin to think from possibility, when you rehearse success in your mind before it happens, you rewire your brain to expect it. The brain doesn't know the difference between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience. The more you visualize your new reality with emotion and conviction, the more your body begins to believe it's already true. That belief changes your actions, and your actions shape your world. This is not wishful thinking. It's neuroplasticity, the science of change. Your brain is always recording, always building pathways based on repetition. When you repeat thoughts of power, gratitude, and courage, you strengthen the neural networks of possibility. When you dwell on fear, doubt, and limitation, you reinforce the circuits of suffering. The mind creates both, but you get to choose which version of reality you energize. So when life breaks you and everything seems uncertain, go inward. Don't focus on what's collapsing. Focus on what you're creating. Shift your thoughts from what you've lost to what you can build. Begin imagining the version of yourself who has already risen from this pain, who has already found peace, who has already created something beautiful out of the chaos. Feel it, see it, believe it, because creation always begins in the unseen. The mind creates first in thought, then in form. If you want a different life, start thinking from a different world. Emotion is energy in motion, use it, don't suppress it. Every emotion that rises within you carries a vibration, a frequency that either liberates you or limits you. Yet most people have been taught to fear their emotions, to hide them, to lock them behind a wall of logic or distraction. We live in a world where strength is often confused with suppression, where silence is mistaken for control. But suppression doesn't heal you, it hardens you. Every emotion you bury stays alive in the body, echoing through your thoughts and shaping your choices. What you resist persists, and what you suppress eventually surfaces, often louder, heavier, and more painful than before. When life breaks you, it's not your emotions that destroy you, it's your disconnection from them. Emotions are not enemies, they are messengers. They are feedback systems from your soul, revealing where you've been, what you need, and what still hurts. When sadness arises, it's not weakness, it's a call for release. When anger flares, it's a sign that a boundary has been crossed or a truth ignored. When fear appears, it's not there to paralyze you, but to invite awareness and courage. Each emotion has a purpose, a lesson, and a gift if you're willing to listen. To master your emotions doesn't mean to control or deny them. It means to understand them, to direct their energy toward creation instead of destruction. Energy in motion must move. If it doesn't, it stagnates. Imagine water trapped in a dam. The longer it's held, the more pressure builds, and eventually it bursts. The same happens with emotions. When you hold in grief, anger, or shame, that energy becomes trapped in your system. It seeps into your body as tension, illness, or fatigue, and into your mind as confusion or anxiety. But the moment you allow yourself to feel, to express, to release, that same energy becomes fuel for transformation. What once felt heavy becomes power. Expression heals what suppression hides. To use emotion consciously, you must stop labeling them as good or bad. Every emotion is information. Joy expands you. Pain deepens you. Fear alerts you. Love grounds you. Life is not asking you to be emotionless, it's asking you to be emotionally intelligent. That means being aware of what you feel, understanding why you feel it, and choosing how to channel it. When you feel anger, instead of exploding or repressing it, pause and ask what truth it's protecting. When you feel sadness, allow it to move through you. Tears are not weakness, they are cleansing. When you feel fear, breathe into it. Behind every fear lies potential waiting to be awakened. The most powerful people are not those who avoid emotion, but those who can transmute it. They can take pain and turn it into compassion. They can take fear and turn it into focus. They can take heartbreak and turn it into purpose. This alchemy of emotion is the foundation of personal freedom. It's not about avoiding the storm, but learning to dance in the rain. Once you realize that emotions are simply waves of energy passing through, you stop drowning in them and start surfing them. You learn to let them flow without letting them control you. When life breaks you, your emotions are not there to destroy you, they're trying to heal you. The breakdown of control is the breakthrough of truth. Cry if you must, scream if you need to, but let the energy move, because every time you release suppressed emotion, you make room for clarity, peace, and creativity to enter. Your emotions are not the problem, your resistance to them is. Feel deeply, but don't stay stuck. Let the emotion rise, learn from it, and then let it go. Remember, emotion is energy in motion, it's life expressing itself through you. When you stop judging and start honoring your emotions, they become your teachers. They reveal what's real. They connect you to your humanity and your spirit. So don't run from what you feel. Feel it fully, let it pass, and watch how every wave of emotion eventually brings you closer to your authentic self. Because in truth, the more deeply you feel, the more alive you become. Rebuild yourself through intention, not reaction. When life breaks you, your first instinct is to fix everything, to patch the wounds, to restore what was lost, to rebuild what once was. But true rebuilding isn't about returning to the old structure. It's about creating a new one that can hold the weight of your growth. Reaction rebuilds from fear, intention rebuilds from wisdom. Reaction tries to recreate safety by clinging to the past. Intention creates alignment by designing the future. The difference is profound. Reaction is survival. Intention is rebirth. Most people live in reaction, reacting to pain, to failure, to disappointment, to what others think. They let their emotions dictate their direction. When something breaks, they scramble to put the pieces back together, not realizing that some pieces no longer belong. But growth asks for something deeper than repair. It asks for redesign. You cannot rebuild a new version of yourself using the same patterns that broke you. Every ending is an invitation to build again consciously, deliberately, with purpose. Intention begins when you stop asking, "How do I get back to what I was?" and start asking, "Who am I ready to become now?" Intention gives direction to your energy. It transforms chaos into clarity. When you rebuild with intention, you no longer move out of desperation to escape pain. You move from inspiration to create meaning. Every choice becomes sacred. Every thought becomes a blueprint. Intention asks you to slow down, to breathe, to listen to your inner wisdom before taking the next step. It teaches you that healing isn't about speed, it's about alignment. If you rush to rebuild, you may end up constructing another version of the same struggle. But when you rebuild with awareness, every brick you lay reflects who you truly are, not who the world told you to be. Rebuilding with intention also means releasing the need to control outcomes. Life is not asking you to know exactly where you're going, only to be clear about the energy you bring to the journey. Intention is not about forcing results. It's about guiding your focus. When you act with clear intention, even small steps become powerful. You begin to notice synchronicities, opportunities appearing where there once were walls. Life starts aligning with your inner state because you're no longer reacting to what happens. You're responding from who you've decided to be. To rebuild intentionally, you must forgive yourself for the mistakes made in reaction. Forgive yourself for the times you let fear lead, for the moments you chased comfort instead of growth. Forgiveness clears emotional space so new creation can unfold. Without forgiveness, your rebuilding is heavy, built on guilt and resistance. With forgiveness, your rebuilding is light, built on acceptance and purpose. Intention thrives in the soil of self-compassion. Rebuilding intentionally is not about perfection. It's about authenticity. It's about honoring your truth, even if it means walking alone for a while. It's about choosing peace over approval, alignment over attachment, and progress over perfection. Every decision becomes an act of self-respect. Every boundary becomes a declaration of worth. Intention reminds you that you are not here to repeat patterns. You are here to evolve beyond them. So when life breaks you, resist the urge to rush the process. Sit in the stillness, feel the emptiness, then ask your heart, what do I want to create now? Don't rebuild from the memory of who you were, rebuild from the vision of who you are becoming. Let your pain inform your design, but not define it. Build slowly, intentionally, one conscious choice at a time, because what you build in awareness will last longer than anything you built in reaction. Rebuilding with intention means understanding that your future is not a product of circumstance, but of choice. It's realizing that you have the power to direct your energy, your thoughts, and your actions towards something meaningful. Life may have broken you, but intention allows you to rebuild stronger, not as a copy of your old self, but as the architect of your new self. Reaction comes from the past, but intention shapes the future. And when you rebuild through intention, every scar becomes a design, every loss becomes a lesson, and every step forward becomes an act of creation. You are not what happened to you, you are what you choose to become. Life will break you, test you, and sometimes leave you standing in the ruins of everything you thought you were. But those events, no matter how painful, do not define you. What defines you is the meaning you give them and the choices you make after the fall. Every person carries a story filled with scars, betrayals, and disappointments, yet within those same stories lies the potential for greatness. The truth is, identity is not something that happens to you, it's something you build. It's not a memory, it's a decision. You get to decide every single day who you are becoming, no matter what the past tried to make you. Too often, people become prisoners of their past. They let what broke them become their permanent definition. They replay old pain like an unending movie and then wonder why they can't move forward. But you cannot create a new life while your mind is anchored in the old one. The past can teach you, but it cannot lead you. Every time you relive your wounds, you reattach yourself to an outdated version of yourself, one shaped by fear, rejection, or failure. To rise, you must be willing to release that identity. You must understand that the person who was hurt is not the person who must heal. The moment you choose differently, you begin to rewrite the story. You are not the result of what people did to you. You are the result of how you respond now. Life is not fair, but it is faithful in its ability to offer you new chances to evolve, to transform, to grow beyond the pain. Every choice you make today is either a reflection of your past or a declaration of your future. You can choose to keep proving your pain right, or you can start proving your potential right. The power lies not in what happened, but in what you decide to do with it. Becoming who you truly are requires courage, the courage to let go of who you used to be. The ego clings to pain because it's familiar. It gives you a sense of identity, even if that identity hurts. But freedom begins the moment you say, I am not my story. You are not your trauma. You are not your mistakes. You are not the labels the world placed on you. You are consciousness, creation, and choice in motion. You are a living process of becoming. When you stop defining yourself by your wounds, you allow healing to redefine you. You open the door for transformation to enter. Your future self is waiting for you to release the past. The experiences that broke you were not meant to imprison you. They were meant to awaken you. Pain introduces you to your power. Loss introduces you to your depth. And failure introduces you to your resilience. These are not punishments, they are initiations. They strip away the illusions so you can discover your essence. What once felt like destruction is actually reconstruction. The fire that burned you was never meant to end you, it was meant to forge you. Becoming is an act of choice repeated daily. Every morning you are reborn with the power to choose again, to think differently, to feel differently, to act differently. You cannot always control what happens, but you can always control what you become because of it. The past might have written the first chapter, but you hold the pen now. Each decision, no matter how small, is a line in the story of who you are becoming. The question is not, why did this happen to me, but who am I willing to become because of it? So, when life breaks you, don't let that be your ending. Let it be your becoming. Let it be the moment you decide to rise from the ashes as the author of your own transformation. Because what happened to you is history, but what you choose to become is destiny. You are not defined by your pain, you are defined by your potential. You are not the product of your past, you are the possibility of your future. And the moment you choose to become more than what happened, that's the moment you truly begin to live.